On the 19th of February 2021, this meme sold for over $500,000. Although, to be more precise, what was sold was not the meme itself, nor even its right of use or collection. On a legal and copyright level, nothing changed, because what was sold was its NFT. But what is an NFT? Well, for those of you who don't know, the NFT system is something like a blockchain registry that assigns each person ownership of a digital file. That digital file can be a photo, a video, an artwork, or even a tweet. In fact, the first tweet ever uploaded in Twitter's history was sold on the NFT system for nearly $3 million. However, Visualeconomik community, and this is the interesting thing, NFT registration has no legal consequences whatsoever. This system does not make the owner of the NFT the legal owner of the tweet or the file in the real world. The NFT is a certificate of ownership that only makes sense within the cryptocurrency universe itself. Or put it another way, the NFT is just a way of telling the world that you have paid a lot of money to have your name associated with a file in the blockchain system. So then, why do people buy NFTs? What makes something that has no real effect so valuable? What on earth do they want them for? Well, the truth is that contrary to what everyone believes, NFTs are nothing new. They are not even something that has been invented in this century or that depended on blockchain technology or computers. NFTs are even older than the Industrial Revolution itself, although at the time they were called by a different name. Because how would you feel if I told you that NFTs have been around for at least, wait for it, 600 years? What's more, what if I told you that one of those archaic NFTs was a huge ring of limestone rock that was lost at the bottom of the sea after a shipwreck and was not discovered until hundreds of years later? Well, if we want to understand what exactly gives NFTs value today, why so many people buy them, and why they are so expensive, we have to go to the source of it all. And apart from that, apart from going back in time, we have to travel to the island of Yap in Micronesia, where the NFTs of antiquity were invented. So, Visualeconomik community viewers, today we have to start, like we do on our sister channel, Visualeconomik, with a little bit of history. 600 years ago, an explorer from the island of Yap named Anagumang led a marine expedition in search of new resources for his land. To do this, he toured the places of his tribe and hired 7 sailors who accompanied him for days on a journey that would end in the great discovery of the Palau Islands, islands that are located almost 500 kilometers from the island of Yap and that have very different natural conditions to what Anagumang and his neighbors on Yap had known until then. After landing in the Palau Islands, the exploration team realized that Palau abounded in a type of stone unknown to date, limestone, a stone virtually non-existent on the island of Yap and that could bring very useful qualities to its people. Quickly, the good Anagumang realized all this and thought that limestone could be very valuable back in his homeland, so he ordered his men to take some of it and load it on the ship back home. After a few days, when Anagumang returned from his trip, all the inhabitants of Yap were completely amazed by the stones, and each of them wanted to have their own. The problem is, there were not enough stones for everyone, so from then on, the people of Yap made more expeditions to get stones which they called Rai, and which eventually became the official currency of the island. Yes, some huge stones ended up being used as coins. Not everything has to be gold. Now then, this whole story is great and super interesting, but what do Rai stones have to do with NFTs? Well, it's not that Rai stones have something to do with NFTs, it's that Rai stones are strictly NFTs. Mind you, a type of NFT that does not use blockchain technology. At the beginning of this video, we explained what the NFT cryptologic system is for, but we have not yet told you where its acronym comes from. NFT stands for non-fungible token, and of course, you all know what it means, but the key to everything is its non-fungible characteristic. A non-expendable good is any item that is not consumed through use and is completely irreplaceable. For example, a house is a good that remains a house no matter how much you live in it, and at the same time, as there are usually no two houses alike, it is difficult to replace. However, a fungible product, such as an apple, once you have eaten it, it is consumed and it ceases to exist. However, you can replace it with another apple that is practically the same and eat it again. In that sense, blockchain NFTs meet the definition perfectly. Files and their owners are unique and irreplaceable, and owning that file does not make it disappear. And okay, I know what many of you are thinking. So what about Rai stones then? Let's see, they are not consumed with use, they are stones. However, you can easily substitute one for another, so why do we say that they are NFTs? Well, the truth is that at the beginning, they were not. The Rai stones were not always a non-expendable good. There were several of them, and they were relatively similar, so yes, they were substitutable for each other. However, over time, the stones began to take on a life of their own and to have characteristics that made them special. For example, the inhabitants of Yap began to value aspects such as the age of the stones so that the oldest ones were the most valued. They also looked at who had been the former owner of the stones, whether or not they had belonged to a noble warrior or a simple commoner. They also valued if the stones had some great anecdote in their past, for example, if someone had died while the stone was being sculpted, or if they had been transported by a famous navigator such as Anagumang himself. In short, stones began to gain value for their history and not for their physical properties. In other words, stones became unique and irreplaceable. They became non-fungible tokens, or, as we have explained to you, NFTs. But wait a minute, there's one detail we haven't yet explained. How the hell were they supposed to exchange stones that weighed up to 4 tons? How could they use them as currency? Would they spend all day moving them around? Well, evidently not. And take note, because here's the most surprising thing of all. Rye stones were traded without being moved from their place. Exactly the same as with the current NFT blockchain system. When trading a stone, the only thing that changed was the owner of the stone, but that new owner did nothing with it. Neither took it home, nor used it as building material, nor decorated his garden with it. The only thing he wanted is that the whole tribe knew that that was his stone. In fact, the stone did not even need to be on the island itself to be valuable. It didn't even have to be visible to the people of Yap. The story goes that on one of these voyages, when the sailors were bringing new stones to the Palau Islands, a storm destroyed a ship a few kilometers off the coast of Yap, and the huge stone they were carrying sank to the bottom of the sea. Luckily, the sailors managed to reach the island and told everyone what had happened, that they had lost the stone. And pay attention, because surprisingly, the people of Yap didn't care. They decided that the story of the shipwreck was very good, and that therefore, the stone they were transporting, and which was now at the bottom of the sea, was very valuable. It had a fascinating history, so they decided to buy it anyway. And yes, although for hundreds of years no person from Yap ever saw that stone, it had an owner who, nevertheless, traded with it. It didn't matter if it existed or not, the important thing was that people believed in it. And well, apparently their belief was founded because more than one of these stones has been found and photographed at the bottom of the sea. But NFTs do not stop here. In fact, you have surely heard many times about other types of products that we could categorize as non-cryptographic NFTs. What happens is that until now, nobody gave them that name. For example, the ISR, or International Star Registry, is an association that allows you to give stars as gifts. Yes, that's right, giving stars as a gift. I mean, sure, it sounds like a very romantic gift to give your partner under the moonlight, but in reality, just like the blockchain NFTs, giving a star as a gift has no legal consequences, nor does it make you the owner of the star's resources. The only thing that ISR offers is that in its registry, your name appears associated with the star you have bought. And now that we've seen all this, I'm sure you are still asking yourself several questions. Why do people spend so much money on things that are fundamentally useless? What difference does it make if my name appears on the blockchain network next to a meme? Why did the inhabitants of Yap place so much value on stones that they couldn't even move? Well, my friends, economics provides us with an answer that makes sense of all this madness. Positional goods. Positional goods are goods and services that people value because of their limited supply. Goods that convey a high relative position within society. These types of goods can include limited editions of products, collectibles, or as we have seen, NFTs and rye stones. The reason the Yapese wanted rye stones was because of the status they gave them in their tribe. Everyone knowing that a famous stone was yours gave you an enviable social standing. And in the same way, the owner of the NFT of the first tweet in history will be able to say that he is the only one who has it, and that he also had enough money to be able to buy it. In other words, it's just a sign of how very rich he is. Knowing this, we should not be surprised by the high value of NFTs, which are just another kind of artwork, and even more so when we are used to items like this, with no apparent outstanding artistic value, being sold for thousands of euros every day.
Avant-garde art. They sell a banana taped to a wall for $120,000.
So now, my friends, I put all of the questions to you. Would you buy an NFT if you had money to spare? Do you think the new NFTs are just a fad, or that like the rye stones, they will last for a long time? Do you think it is good for people to make so much money on positional goods? You can leave me your answer in the comments below. And as always, don't forget that here on Visualeconomik, we release new videos every week. So subscribe to this channel and hit the little bell button down there so you don't miss any of our updates. If you like this video, like it so we know. All the best. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.